Not only did she come to cheer in the visitors' living room, but she also witnessed Chaeuwoo in the military ranks with his colleagues. At that time, the atmosphere of the headquarters courtyard was full of young soldiers who were doing morning apples. They stood upright in neat rows, military green uniforms perfectly attached to each other's bodies, their faces looking straight ahead with serious expressions typical of army discipline. Among the crowd, his eyes immediately fell on the one figure he knew best, Chaeuwoo. Despite now appearing with a short military haircut and a face without makeup, Yunwoo's eyes remained the same, shaded and full of firmness. Ji-yeon, who was standing some distance away in the special visitors area, held her breath for a moment. There is a sense of pride, but also mixed with worry. He knew very well that Eunwoo was not someone who had grown up with the harsh life of the military since childhood. He is an artist accustomed to the camera, the stage, and the entertainment world, but now stands gallantly as a soldier. He didn't look away from Eunice. He saw how Eunwoo remained calm, following every instruction with discipline, although there was clearly a sense of fatigue radiating from the look in his eyes. Ji-yeon clasped the white rose that she had handed over. Now only a small petal remained that she kept in her hand as a reminder. "Are you okay?" The inner is soft, as if you want to ask directly even though the distance separates. There was a moment when the ranks of soldiers were asked to make simultaneous movements. Eunwoo did it perfectly, impeccably. But for Ji-yeon, each move is not just a physical exercise, but a reminder that the figure she knows so subtly is now forged in a harsh world. A small concern arises. Is Eunwoo able to keep himself in the midst of the rigors of military life? Several other soldiers seemed to occasionally glance at the visitor, realizing that there was someone present just to witness. Eunwoo himself kept trying to keep his focus, but at a glance, in a split second, his eyes had shifted towards Ji-yeon. The brief glance was like a flash that only the two of them could understand, a wordless acknowledgement that Ji-yeon's presence had given her strength. Ji-yeon lowered her face for a moment, trying to hide an anxious expression. However, as the ranks dispersed and the soldiers were ordered back to their respective positions, he again raised his gaze. His eyes were glazed over, not only from a sense of pride, but also from a deep sense of worry. He knew that behind the sturdy figure of Chaeuwoo in the military ranks, there was a tired and longing heart, which tried to survive in order to carry out its obligations. The sight made a strong impression on him. And even though she can't stay there long, Ji-yeon brings home a belief that the man she saw in the lineup will be able to overcome all challenges, though behind her gaze she still sees a vulnerability that only she can understand as the military ranks began to shift to a strapping position. The air in the headquarters courtyard felt increasingly tense. A whistle from the instructor marked the start of the morning examination session. The galloping steps of the soldiers were heard stomping simultaneously, creating an echoing echo between the walls of the headquarters. All eyes were directed straight ahead, faces stiff without expression. Not a single one dared to turn his head towards the outside of the ranks. However, on the side of the fence reserved for guests, Ji-yeon's eyes were never separated from Eunwoo's figure. He stood with his hands folded, staring intensely at the line. From a distance, Eunwoo looked just like any other soldier. The same uniform, the same boots, the same discipline. But to Ji-yeon, he's still the Chaeuwoo she knows. The guy who always bows his head politely when greeting the filming crew, who likes to smile shyly whenever he forgets dialogue, who occasionally pats him on the shoulder when he's nervous in front of the camera. Now, the figure stands firmly as a soldier. Worries begin to creep into Ji-yeon's heart. His gaze followed Eunwoo's face, which was slightly thinner than the last time he had seen it on the television screen. "You must be very tired," he murmured inwardly. He imagined Eunwoo's routine. Getting up before dawn, running with heavy weights, hours of physical exercise, plus night watch duty. This harsh life is much different from the world of spotlights that has surrounded Eunwoo. As the instructor begins to walk down the ranks, examining the soldiers one by one, Ji-yeon feels her heartbeat quicken. He watched how each soldier had to answer aloud every question. When Yunwoo's turn came, his loud voice sounded clear, firm, and full of confidence. The voice pierced Ji-yeon's feelings because even though it was firm, she felt there was a small tremor that could only be picked up by someone who really knew her. A military officer standing near the guest area notices Ji-yeon. From the expression on his face, it was clear he was aware of the deep concern the woman felt. Every now and then, Ji-yeon is seen biting her lower lip, as if holding back emotions from falling into the public gaze. When the ranks were given a short rest order, Eun-woo lowered his head, taking a deep breath. At a glance, he shifted his eyes towards where Ji-yeon was standing. Their eyes met, brief but full of meaning. There were no words spoken, but it was as if a silent message was flowing. Eun-woo tried to smile slightly, although his face still maintained his authority as a soldier. Ji-yeon replied with a smile full of tension, her eyes emitting a prayer for Eun-woo to stay strong. There was a small moment that only they understood, when Eun-woo quickly knocked his boots to the ground, as if giving a subtle hint that he was fine. Ji-yeon nodded slowly, pretending to concern herself with tidying up her long coat so it wouldn't be too flashy. To the other visitors, it might be just an ordinary gesture, but to Ji-yeon, it's a secret code, the way Eun-woo convinces her. After the apple ends, the rows slowly disperse. The soldiers returned to their barracks in unison. Eun-woo, along with his teammates, walked through an area not too far from the guest fence. Ji-yeon sees it again, this time more clearly. Their eyes met again, for only a few seconds, but enough to make Ji-yeon sigh deeply. He could feel the strength in that gaze, even though Eun-woo's body was wrapped in the firmness of a soldier. As Eun-woo moves further away, Ji-yeon finally lowers her gaze. There is both relief and bitterness. He was proud to see Eun-woo standing tall, but he was also overcome with fear of all the challenges that still awaited Eun-woo for the rest of his military service. Several other visitors who were near Ji-yeon were whispering, guessing who she was. Some thought he was family, others thought he was a special friend. Ji-yeon was just silent, looking straight at the path that Eun-woo had just passed. In his heart, he whispered, "I'll wait. Whatever happens, I'll wait." After the event was over, he had time to sit in the visitor's living room chair, waiting for the exit procedure. That's when he opens his phone and sees a screen full of notifications. News about him has already begun to spread in online forums. Vague photos of him as he entered the gates of the headquarters began to be uploaded. His heart was a little cramped, but he knew that from the beginning, the risk was great. However, he also knew that his arrival today wasn't about him. It was about Eun-woo. He looked out the window, seeing the courtyard of the headquarters slowly quiet again. In his mind, he repeated Eun-woo's gaze in the row earlier. The look he will keep, like a letter without ink, as a reminder that his short visit has given strength to both. When he finally stepped out of the base, his steps felt heavy. The autumn wind again hit him in the face, bringing with it the smell of wet earth and dry leaves. He grabbed his coat and got